Hi, fourth grade. We started chapter 13 last week, learning about perimeter. And if you remember, perimeter is the distance around a shape. For example, how much fence goes around a yard? Today, in lesson 13.2, which you can find on page 501 in your Go Math book, we are going to focus on area. And the essential question is, how can you use a formula to find the area of a rectangle? So when we're talking about area, it's the space inside a two-dimensional shape. For example, this amount of carpet inside. So if I want to put carpet in my square living room, I want to know how much carpet I need to fit the whole area of the living room. So now we're talking about what's inside. So to measure area, we use squares. So again, your information is in your textbook. The lesson is in your textbook on page 501 in the Go Math book. Let's go ahead and unlock the problem. So we have some information here that's very important when we're talking about area. So we have two new vocabulary words and a variable for each one. So the base, which we label with variable b, of a two-dimensional figure can be any side. It can be any of the sides. So if you look at this example, it could be this side, this side, this side, any of the sides. The height, which we will use the variable h, is the measure of a perpendicular line segment from the base to the top of the figure. So if this is base, this is height. Do you see that it's perpendicular? Because it forms a right angle. If this is the base, then this is the height. It forms a right angle. If this is the base, then this is the height. It forms a right angle. So remember, this is going back a little bit. Perpendicular lines and perpendicular line segments form right angles. So these two lines are perpendicular because they form a right angle. These line segments are perpendicular because they form a right angle. So base and height are perpendicular because they form a right angle. Base and height perpendicular because they form a right angle. Base and height perpendicular because they form a right angle. So area is the number of square units needed to cover a flat surface. A square unit is a square that is 1 unit long and 1 unit wide. To find the area of a figure, count the number of square units inside the figure. So here's an example of a square unit. 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit. So when you label your answers, you will answer them in square units, whatever the measurement is. So how are the base, height, and area of a rectangle related? Let's look at that first. We're going to complete the table to find the area. So we're counting squares, and we don't know if they're centimeters or meters or what they are, so we're just going to call them units. So the base, we're going to call this base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Height, then we need to know this is height because it makes a perpendicular right angle, perpendicular. So the height is 1, 2, 3 units. Let's go ahead and count all the squares. So 5, 10, 15 units. The area of that rectangle, 15 units. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go on to the next figure. The base, we'll call this base 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. If this is base, then this is height, 1, 2 units. If you count all the squares, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. The area is 16 square units. Sorry. I tell you to do that and then I don't do it myself. So 15 square units, 16 square units. My bad. So this is a one-dimensional. This is a one-dimensional, but when you put them together and we find out what's inside, it's two-dimensional, so we call it square units. Okay, let's look at the figure 3. Base, 1, 2, 3 units. Height, 1, 2, 3 units. For a total of 3, 6, 9, 9 square units. Kind of cool. So now, what relationship do you see among the base and height and area? What do you notice between this, this, and this? This, this, and this. This, this, and this. What relationship do you see? So I hope you see that when you multiply 5 times 3, you get 15. When you multiply 8 times 2, you get 16. When you multiply 3 times 3, you get 9. So the product of the base and the height is equal to the area. This is going to help us make our formula. Awesome. So write a formula for the area of a rectangle. Use the letter capital A for area. Use the letter lowercase b for base. Use the letter lowercase h for height. So that would look like area equals base times height. Bravo, good job, friends. Let's go ahead and look at page 501. So use a formula. You can use a formula to find the area. So area equals base times height. And again, base is any side. Height is the side that forms a right angle. So base and height are perpendicular. Here's your math idea here. You can think of the base and height of a rectangle as length, variable lowercase l, and width, variable lowercase w. Since the length and the width are perpendicular, you can write the formula for the area of a rectangle as capital A equals L times W. So let's go ahead and look at the examples. We're going to use a formula to find the area of a rectangle and a square. So area equals base times height. We can call base 6, and we'll call height 2. 6 times 2, 12. So we have feet. See feet? So now we need to label it 12 square feet. Now, the cool thing, you can do a shortcut and instead of writing square feet, you can put a little 2 to show square feet. So make sure you do that with area because it has to be square feet, or you have to write out the words square feet. This is just giving you a shortcut, which I know we sometimes like shortcuts. All right, let's look at B. Area equals base times height. We'll call this base. We'll call this height. 2 times 2, 4. So the area is 4 square feet, or you can do it with a little 2 for square feet. Because I will tell you, if you don't label it square feet when it's area, or like this, then I will remind you it has to be square feet. Or actually, man, it's meters on this one. You can do just the little symbol for meters with the little 2. Sorry. Not even Monday today when I'm doing this. All right. Try this. Write a formula for the area of a square. So we can make squares kind of, you know, special. So we can do it a little bit differently if we want to. So we'll continue to use the capital A for area. And because all the sides are the same length for square, remember we did this with perimeter, we can do it a small letter S. So we can then write our formula as A equals S times S. Just a little interesting tidbit. So let's go ahead and share and show. Find the area of the rectangle. A equals B times H. And over here, if we call this base, it's 11 centimeters. If this is base, then this is height, 13. Over here, 11 times 13. So 143 square centimeters, or you can write it with centimeters, little 2. Okay. And then this is nice because they gave you a little area here, a little box to show you the 2 formulas then. A equals B times 8 and A equals S times S. So find the area of the rectangle or square. So area equals base times height, which equals 14 square inches. Looking at number 3, area equals S times S, which equals 81 square meters. And number 4, area equals, we call this base, we can call this height, 14 times 8, 112 square feet. All right, so on your own, there are a lot. So go ahead and work on I'll give you some time to work on. Let's do 6, 10, and 12. 6, 10, and 12. I'm going to give you time to work on 6, 10, and 12, and then I will give you some feedback. right, for number 6, area equals side times side, 6 times 6, which is 36 square kilometers. Don't forget to label, please. Number 10, area equals base times height, which equals 40 square centimeters. And number 10, find the area of the rectangle. They don't give us the actual rectangle, but they give us what we need, the measurements. So area equals base times height, which equals 17 times 9. 153 square yards. All right, excellent job, friends. So homework, let's take a look. Lesson 13.2, homework page 249. Let's go ahead and do all because there aren't that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 problems plus the 4 spiral review. So homework for today is both pages, all 249 and 250. Thanks, gang.